afternoon and welcome to H2O Stream. This is Martyn reporting for H2O Global News. Water is our most precious resource and we need to manage it better, especially for agriculture. Today's guest, Peter Blezard of Engaged Crop Solutions, has developed Aqualatus. This system cuts agricultural water use without reducing crop yields. Hi Peter and welcome.
Hi, how are you doing?
Not too bad, good to see you. So to get this rolling, could you just give us some background about yourself and Engaged Crop Solutions?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for the invite. It's very important to us. We're very passionate about getting a wider audience for this technology. I'll expand on that later where we are. My background is really the last 35 years. I've spent it in business-to-business development internationally, and that's from countries as diverse as New Zealand, China, Japan, most of Asia. Also across North America and South America, and of course Europe. That's nearly always been at board level. But about 23 years ago, year 2000, I was invited to meet the owner of a very high-profile crop nutrition company based in America, and I was actually in America at the time. And I met the owner, and he was looking for a managing director for his UK operation. I subsequently started working for that operation in 2000, but the owner said to me, and he many years experience, I don't know why anybody would work in agriculture. It's such a really tough game. And the seasonality and planning, financing and everything around it really he said it's just such a tough field to work in. I said to him, well, the only reason I will do it is I can see a different way of doing it. That's my pitch. And he allowed me to get on with it then. Since then, 2000, I've done 3 startups in agriculture. They're all still active. I floated one of them on the AIM market in London, stock market listing in 2006. The other 2 are still going, one of which is Engage. We started Engage in 2012. I'm one of 4 founders. And then Engage is yet again a very special technology company, specialist working in high crop nutrition. And my particular forte at the moment is this water saving technology. And it's got 2 names. It's called Aqualatus, which is like water and layer because it leaves water on the top of the soil. But other countries we've marketed to it's called Integrate as well. So, but the push is now we've rebranded and trademarked as Aqualatus so that we can go out internationally. We've cleared that name through our trademark lawyers in Manchester, England, and we're very keen. The key thing is that right at the outset, this technology, when applied, and it's via irrigation equipment, when it is applied, it can save the growers a minimum of 15% of the water needs. So I feel the technology, we've looked at anything that tries to compete with like gels and things like that. It's the best in class. It's manufactured, being developed here in UK, and it carries a UK flag when it goes out because a lot of countries still respect that.
That's true. That's true. So just to give us a bit more background, what role do you think agriculture plays in the water crisis, globally and for the Middle East? So I know you've been testing the technology.
Well, agriculture obviously needs water, and there's been a lot of reports how much water agriculture ships around the world. If we buy fruit from Spain, in UK, obviously they're shipping the fruit here. Well, it's massive amounts of water content. But agriculture uses 70% of the world's water needs, fresh water needs. If we work in Middle East, which we are doing quite a bit now, that can be over 90%. The problem is the rivers and the aquifers are being depleted and they're not being replenished anything like the rate of extraction. So agriculture as many things with people talking about different weather conditions, agriculture has a looming crisis. In the Middle East, we read an article recently. They are calling water the new blue gold, and it's that important. And I was speaking with people in the UAE and Kingdom of Saudi Arabia recently, and they are working with desalinated water. Now, whilst their energy is a lot more cost effective in the Middle East, it is costing them £1.50 for every cubic meter of water. That, excuse me, that makes our technology eminently very, very viable. And the numbers are quite stunning, that when a grower uses this, the return on his investment's 20, 30 times.
So, I mean, to get into the technical side of it, so could you just tell us, what is Aqualatus and exactly how does it work?
Well, as I said, we've done 10 years of trials. It's not something that's just popped up. We've developed it with different polymers. It's a liquid. It's a blend of specialist polymer technologies. The polymers are completely safe to the environment. There's nothing in this technology that harms the microflora or the soil in any way, and it completely biodegrades and it disappears within a few weeks. But the polymers inside the liquid have a microscopic structure that, like I said, it's Aqualatus. It leaves like a lattice over the soil. So as it hits the soil, the particles of polymers inside attach themselves to soil particles. They're like little tadpoles. They attach to the soil, and they ensure that then the surface runoff and the evaporation of the water is reduced so much that it's almost eradicated. The water then sits up around the plant and then just stops running off and stops evaporating. That allows for much lower volumes of water through irrigation, and it allows for different timings. You can actually cut your irrigation timings down. We've found that this saves people a lot of time, money, and energy. Besides that, it just makes the soil, as I said earlier in the intro before we got talking, we're working in South Africa. This soil compacts, this moves water laterally, and it prevents undue leaching, but it also prevents aggregation and compaction in soil. It promotes the aggregation, that the soil can be worked much easier because it's just wetter, it's just better soil. It increases the water retention, and that's in any soil, even sandy soils. As I said earlier, it's 100% environmentally safe, and it ensures a healthy soil, whatever the soil is, and it can be applied to any soil or any growing substrate, especially coir. And if we don't get to splice the video in, if people look at our website, you can see this in action with coir, and it's absolutely staggering. It's absolutely instant what effect this technology has on different substrates.
As this demonstration with coir blocks dramatically shows, Aqualatus optimizes water penetration and moisture holding capacity, which in soil eradicates runoff, minimizes evaporation, and helps to cut fertilizer and energy costs by ensuring all crop inputs are delivered directly to the roots.
So it's a liquid polymer technology that stops leaching and holds up around the root zone.
Excellent. I mean, I think you've answered a lot of this question already, but I mean, what are the benefits of using the system for agriculture and for preserving water?
Well, as I said, it moves water laterally. It maximizes the nutritional content in the if they're mixing the water with nutrition, which they normally will be, as it holds around the root zone, the nutrition is delivered where it needs to be. And that's a massive, massive thing for growers, because with all our case studies, and we're happy to share these, this is where even with less water, they get far more yield, and they get plumper crops, more bricks. They get just a healthier crop all the way around. And we've worked on more or less any type of crop you can think of: fruits, tree fruits, brassicas, and different crops that can really accelerate the yield improvements even with less water. It provides a long-term residual re-wetting of the soil, which means that once it's been used initially, you can cut the timings down because the water's kept there, and with regular use, it does support optimal growing conditions due to holding all the fertilizers up that are being nutrition that's being applied with the Aqualatus.
That's excellent. I mean, it does sound like it's got many more benefits than just actually saving water. I mean,
it gets to the point it's too good to be true. But we meter it into irrigation, so we have irrigation specialists on board. We're a small company, but we have the people we need, and then we meter it into the irrigation variety of different ways. But it's very low dose per 500 litres of water, say. And then when it's metered in with the nutrition that's in, it just activates everything because it holds it around the root zone much longer than required. So absorption is key. It doesn't leach away into the soil.
Yes, I mean, certainly one thing to notice is that it saves 50% of water, which is an absolutely unbelievable figure, really.
Yeah. And that is crop dependent, but 50% is a minimum. We can get a lot higher on some other crops. We've worked in glass houses with different crops and it can be much higher.
That's fantastic. So, I mean, you've over the last 10 years, you've run a number of extensive trials. So, I mean, what exactly did you find from those? Just elaborate on the results a little bit.
Well, that's why I can confidently quote these type of numbers. I don't want to throw them out. I mean, unless we add value to a grower, he shouldn't even talk to us. And the value add I'm talking about is you save 50% of your water minimum, could be more, but let's go for 50. You can go for shorter timings, which means you save energy. You can actually you increase your fertilizer adoption. Its take up is much better because it's held up. And then I say seeing is believing. If you see how this works and we're happy to give somebody free product and try it, you can see the water's just held up, and instead of it leaching away, it's held up round within like half a meter of the root zone, and it keeps it wet there instead of running off. It just holds it where it needs to be held, and it's seen is believing. That's why we've done a video, and obviously that's why we want to talk to yourselves. But we want people to come and talk to us and see and believe this technology, because it's a major unmet need in agriculture.
Oh, definitely. I mean, to move on, so you've touched on this a little bit, but what are your plans for the future? For example, do you plan to roll Aqualatus out to other regions?
Well, we're selling a registry currently in about 20 countries. And you've told me you're in Greece. We are in Greece. We're a distributor. We're in Italy. We're doing a lot in southern Spain, Almeria, which is one of the biggest fruit growing areas. We're in South Africa. We're making inroads at the moment into the Middle East. We've done a lot of extensive trials with my colleague over 2018, 19, 20 in the municipal parks region, a lot on landscapes, and we could see it immediately. We weren't working for something to go to yield. We could just see the lawns and everything improved, and we saved them a vast amount of money. So now we've got interest from UAE, we've got interest from Saudi, and we've got interest from different countries like Jordan. The product, by the way, is if it needs registration. Some countries don't need registration. If it needs registration, it's registered either as a fertilizer regulation or like a soil conditioner. And usually that's very cost effective, a few $100s. I think the Jordan registration was $1,800. It's not punitive like other chemicals can be. It's quite benign, and it's actually organic as well, so it's very benign. We're working with the UK government at the moment, the Department for Business and Trade. They've been very helpful. We've talked to their members in different countries I've mentioned, and what we're focused on more, we think the biggest need from data research is the Middle East, but we're also working with countries in South America, notably Costa Rica, Mexico. We've got contacts in Chile, so if it's a step program through 23-24, we will identify and do trials with a launch in 24 in these type of countries. Suffice to say, though, we're looking for the right partners. I always felt, I think this is an irrigation issue, I always felt an irrigation company will come to talk to us, because this is like razor and razor blades. The two complement each other. If they have the equipment and then our technology goes through that equipment, it's a technology that's very complementary offer for an irrigation company to say, look, we've got the irrigation in this country, let's just plug your technology in. And as I said, this technology is outstanding. It will not embarrass anybody.
So, I mean, you talked about you're working with the UK government there. So you're thinking about moving worldwide. What policies and investments in technology do you think will support, your aims?
That's a good question. As I said, currently we've worked quite at a high level with agri-tech people in the Department of Business and Trade, based in London, but also then we do outreach and go around the world. So they are reaching out. I've also linked up, especially in Middle East and UAE, with business-to-business centres that actually partnered, like a marriage bureau for businesses. And we're just in negotiations currently how to find the right businesses. So what we're looking for is partners that can actually market, hold the stock, distribute, a proper turnkey situation. So if we can find them type of partners. The problem with policies, as you know, is they take years to implement, and the need for water in agriculture is now. So that really, as a small enterprise here in UK, that's my company Engage, we are looking not to take more people on in our company, but to engage with more partners that can do the heavy lifting, and we can support them to go out into other countries. But we seek the right partners that really can do the marketing. And the investment side is we will invest our time in them, bringing this technology to market. And there's a mutual benefit for everybody, the grower, the distributor, and we have a range of options for distribution. But I am really passionate that agriculture needs this technology, and I'm passionate that we will support, honestly, any partner that will come in as long as they can deliver.
That's about it. Yes, your passion definitely shines through in the product. So, I mean, I personally wish you every success with it. It sounds like it's creating lots of win-win solutions for everybody.
And everything I've said can be verified. We have plenty of trials, case studies on different crops from co-ops and big growers across different regions. So if anybody wants to get in touch, we can share that. We can put technical experts in touch with them from our side, and we can come out, see them if they're overseas, support them into growing a business. And I think there's rapid growth with this technology.
Oh, definitely. There's definitely a need for it. Well, so I'll wrap up. So I'd like, first of all, to thank you, Peter, for your time in this. It's been a very interesting interview. I'd like to thank the audience for watching.
Yeah.
I'll say this is Martyn for H2O Global News. Thank you. See you next time.
Thank you, Martyn. And thanks for the offer again. And thanks to H2O.